All of it. All of it, 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 all of it. Hello. 1 2 1 2. That was my answer to John Beckett's question from Katie Wingy. What's your biggest concern about the defense? All of it. Everything that we're doing. 1 2 1 2. Is this thing on? I think it's on. Yes. I figured I'd start a little earlier than 10:30 because the second half is starting, and I might as well start with it. It's another one of those mishmashes where we take Good News Travel Fast and we combine it with 5 to go, and we call it Good News Travel Fast in 5 to go. Kinda. Nuggets and Pels underway. Your boys, man. My boys as well. We'll give it up to anybody. Cheap date. Defensively, cheap date. Nuggets down 72-68. I'm sure it'll be fine. 72-69. To the Pelicans, now down 72-70. Hey, what say we start the show? I don't mind if I do.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
Good news. Good news. Jesus Christ, we can't run.
Yes, me and my brand new applause that sounds like a Harrier jet taking off. Yay! Yay! And we're back in a much better mood than I was yesterday this time. Well, not this time, a little earlier than this time. Because you know what? The world's going to be the world. And I will always have opinions on it. And I'm going to do my thing to inform and be a part of the change that I want to see in the world. But there's certain times when, you just got to let that be, right? And this is one of those times because we got shit to talk about. Yo, Fishing, what's good?
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Yeah, Media Critic, what's good?
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Everything good right now. It's all good. All the Nuggets are good. The Nuggets are up 79-72, just like that. In the blink of a Good News Travel Fast opening, they just open it up. This is just, it's quite obvious that these are indeed the dog days of basketball summer, which is right before the trade deadline, right before NBA All-Star. You just see it with teams, and I get it. I do get it. It's a long season. Christian Brown, CB, never saw a fast break that he wasn't going to shoot on. I loved Michael Porter Jr. commenting in the post-game interview last game against the Pels. Somebody asked him a question about CB on the break, and he was like, "You ever see CB give it up on the break? He got an assist." CB's not a big. He's not. He's got a one-track mind. Once he sees rim, he's going in. What's up? How was your hump day? How was your Wednesday? God, that is an aggressive. It's a very aggressive applause that I have. It's much better than the other one. The other one I kept getting flagged for. They kept flagging me for because they were saying it was a copyright infringement. I'm like, what? And it was because I didn't know. I just downloaded an applause. It was an applause that was used in a song. Isn't that crazy? I kept getting this copyright infringement, and I keep looking like, what the fucking? I need to stop cursing too. Michael, free pass Porter. Skunk Life was popping. Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Butler to the Warriors is dangerous. I thought for sure he was going to Phoenix too. Well, let's get into it because I thought that this trade deadline wasn't going to have nearly as much action as what we've seen in these. Please don't stop. I see people like bleeping out the weirdest words on YouTube, and I'm just assuming that YouTube's gone complete Gestapo when it comes to monetization, and so they'll just hit you for anything. Like people won't say killer, they won't say a lot of things. They're kind of like, why are you bleeping that? But I guess yeah, it's the internet, but the FCC is not going to stop you, but they can stop your money. What you call it can? Oh yeah. Old Booth, he's trending on Twitter, Skunk Life. Calvin.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
If you're old enough like me and you remember the Calvin's working at McDonald's commercials. Not this Calvin. This Calvin's barely working. He was trending. He might still be trending on Twitter. Let's see. Calvin, but well, first let's go over the Jimmy Butler trade. This is huge. I told you guys 4 shows ago about last week sometime. I could see this Golden State Warriors team making a run deep in the playoffs, quite possibly all the way to the NBA Finals, and then sealing the deal because I just don't believe in Boston like that. I look at the East and I'm like, there's not one team over there that is formidable enough to say that the best team in the West can't go in best. This isn't anybody's year. This isn't anybody's year type NBA season. Having said that, the 2 best teams in the East just haven't done enough to really convince me. The defending champs they seem fallible. They don't seem infallible. They seem very much fallible. And then with the second best team, or Cleveland, if I don't know, they're going back and forth, best record. You gotta show me that you can do it. I'm from Missouri when it comes to new NBA champs. You got to prove that you can do it. They got to climb out of the East, beat the East best, and then we'll see who comes out of the East. When it comes to the West, which I tend to pay attention to more because obviously that's where the Nuggets play. OKC, it's like, yeah, great regular season squad. It's giving Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and company just remind me of those years when CP3 and James Harden were doing it in Houston. And it was just kind of like, that's going to work during the regular season. We'll see how they man up. We'll see how they measure up come postseason time. Houston, young team. You saw last night they lost to Brooklyn inexplicably at the end of the game on a turnover. And that's what happens with young teams. I think they're extremely talented. I think they're missing a couple pieces, although they really have everything. They got a great post player in Şengün. They've got guys on the edge, very athletic, very young, very spry. They got defense. They have offense. They pretty much got it all, but you still got to put it together, right? And then there's the field. And unfortunately for us as Nuggets fans, we're in the field. We are in the field, but so is Golden State. And if anybody that you're going to trust in a season when it's wide open, if there's anybody you're going to trust, you should trust a champion, a tried and true proven champion. And with what they gave up, you lose Dennis Schroeder, but he was only there for a cup of coffee. You lose Slow-Mo, but again, only there for a cup of coffee. And a first-round pick, and who else? Oh, Andrew Wiggins. Okay, you lost Andrew Wiggins. But if you can't tell me that Jimmy Butler's not an upgrade for Andrew Wiggins. You can't tell me that. And while I do think Kyle Anderson's minutes would have been very valuable in a championship run, you can replace what Kyle brings because you still have Loon on the bench. And I'm telling you right now, adding Jimmy Butler to this team, they are, in my opinion, Golden State just stepped into the conversation as not just sleeper, but let's see if they can get past the play-in. If they get past the play-in, it's going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. This is what Jimmy Butler needed. You're talking about playoff Jimmy now. And I think people forget about that because of the antics and the attitude and all of that stuff. And that's all fine and well. He might be a bad person per se, but I think he's a good teammate. I actually do think that's kind of weird to say that because he did quit on his boys. But I think he's a good teammate in as much as to say when he's engaged and when he's locked in, you don't want anybody. There's few better than playoff Jimmy. And so it's wow, Michael Porter Jr. He's had a game this game. But this is one of those games too where it's like you're doing it against the Pels. I want to see Michael Porter Jr. play like this night in, night out against the best competition in the league. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can. Because would you say Joel Embiid's a great teammate? Look at that mess that there was in Philly. I don't count that in Philly. And when he was in Minnesota, that was a team of guys who just did not want to try hard. Now, having said that, I do agree that he quit on his boys in Miami. And there are shades of, but I don't think that necessarily makes you a bad teammate. I just don't. I think a bad team, I don't think there's any question that he wants to win. And that he's a winner. And I think that that's going to be a problem for everybody. I think that's going to be a problem for everyone. Who's soft? Now add Butler to the names I mentioned last night. There is no team loyalty anymore. No. But there's no loyalty to players from the teams either. Look what just happened with Luka. I mean, we've just been talking about what happened with Luka and the Mavericks. And that rabbit hole got much deeper. That rabbit hole got much, much, much deeper because it seems like this whole Adelson ownership group, casino, tank the squad thing, which is it's just bad for the integrity of the league. That you would allow it to be that blatant, that it could be that blatant. Michael Porter Jr. is having a game. Have a game, young man. I think I still might need to get some more applause. Malone told him who he can trade and cannot. Yeah. Yeah. And he said as much after his in his post-game comments last game that Michael Porter Jr. is not going anywhere. Put some respect on my Knicks, bruh. I know I'm delusional, but still. Skunk Life, let me tell you something.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Your best player, Jalen Brunson is one of my favorite. He's just one of my favorites. And I think because of his presence alone, the Knicks can come out of the East. Because of him alone. I think they're due. Having said that, they've got a lot to prove in terms of just being able to seal the deal. But I love your Knicks. I'll put some respect on them. Now watch Jimmy Butler go on a tear again, making himself look like an elite player. It's not that he's going to make himself look like he's an elite player. It's just a matter of whether or not he's happy or not. Temperamental Jimmy. You need to add temperamental Jimmy, bipolar Jimmy, along with playoff Jimmy. He's elite. And quite honestly, I think his best basketball might still be ahead of him. With that type of incentive, now it's like, oh, you look over there and it's Draymond, and you look over there and they got a squad, and I'm telling you, they are built for this particular brand of basketball too. You don't need a big guy. You don't need a Joker or a Şengün. You know what I mean? The center, the era of the center isn't full on yet, although I think it's on setting. This is the early stages of it. Everybody's still playing that. The Nuggets have shot 33s or something ungodly. They had 20. I think they had jacked up like 24, 26 threes in the first half of this. Like something ridiculous. This is that era, though. Jack it up. And in that regard, when you think about Jimmy Butler, the rebounder that he is, the dog that he plays like, the death lineup that they can put out there when it's Jimmy, Draymond, Steph. No, you don't have Clay, but you're going to be able to mix in some other guys. I do think losing Dennis Schroeder, we'll see. I liked his addition to that squad, but they've got guys that they can mix in there. And, you know, the Podziemski kid is he an upgrade from Clay? No, but he can play. He can play and he can shoot. And now you're seeing more of Kuminga. You're seeing more of their younger guys. And I think you're going to want to keep an eye on Golden State. So whose team it's? Steph or Jimmy? Jimmy always wants it to be his team. Yeah, and Steph has no problem in deferring to. You saw how Steph did it with KD. And how about that whole thing where what they were thinking about was trying to get KD back, and KD was like, "I have no interest in going back there." And you know what that is? That's a Draymond thing. But you know what's funny? This. What's funny are these memes. Look at this. This is Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler after their first loss. This is. They are one and the same. I think that mixture of fire, the Draymond and Jimmy. I think that mixture of fire though might work out. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, you cannot. I loved all of these though. I think this is a bit of a stretch. I don't think is Steph playing like he's aged out, like he's aging out? Does Draymond play like he's aging out? Draymond's game will work in any era. You know why? Because Draymond's just a gutter dog. He's just getting it out of the mud. Warriors before Jimmy Butler trade, Warriors after Jimmy Butler trade. Twitter is great. Twitter is great. This was one of my favorites. Draymond and Jimmy Butler after their argument. But sometimes, if anything could reel Draymond in, it's Jimmy. And if anything could reel Jimmy in, it's Draymond. I'd watch. I mean, that could be that could be 5-6 for Steph. Keep in mind, if they decided, and Joe Lacob is, why wouldn't he spend the money? And if they run far, and when I say far, if they run off, if they get a chip, it's going to be 5-6 for it. Believe me when I say that's 5-6 for Steph. Right now, Clay is punching air. They're dangerous, but not that dangerous. All right. Who's got more championship experience than them right now in the league? And still competitive fire and still skill. You could say LeBron, you know, because that's what intuitively that's what you're going to say, LeBron. That's the list. This is this NBA. Like, I think you've got your pies muddled up, friend. This is not your grandfather's NBA. This is one of the softest versions of the NBA ever. One of the softest versions of the NBA ever. Look what the Nuggets are 2 years removed from a championship. And I love this. I love the Nuggets. But look what they've turned into. They're such a question mark. 2 years removed from. No, trust me. Guys who have been there before have the upper hand. And we're not just talking about any guys. We're talking about Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who arguably first ballot Hall of Famer, not arguably, going away, close the door, first ballot Hall of Famers. And now you add Jimmy Butler to the mix? Fuck out of here. Fuck around and find out if you want to. Dennis Schroeder called the trade deadline modern day slavery, which is a wild statement. That is crazy. Did he call it that? Did he say it in German? Did Dennis Schroeder say that? That's wild. I had this whole thing with Warren Sapp. Shout out to you. Back in the day when he said the NFL is modern day slavery, and I'm like, yeah, the only problem with that statement, Warren, no matter how badly we think all of y'all are treated, non-guaranteed contracts, slaves didn't get paid, you moron. Can't walk with multiple teams to be a good teammate, no way. So says you. Schroeder's hair is modern day. And now all of a sudden Butler is healthy again. Yeah. And this is the problem with these entitled athletes. Screw guys who force trades. You signed a contract, now honor it. You'll get no argument out of me there. And then what? You feel me? It's a philosophical conversation that you're having in a league that needs to figure out how to rectify itself. I don't disagree with you. I think the NBA has to figure out what to do about these guaranteed contracts, especially after this, because now that people have seen what Jimmy Butler was able to get in the long run for basically being a bad businessman. He negotiated in bad faith as a businessman. He won't be the last to try and do this because these dudes are all entitled like that, but they're not all Jimmy Butler. That's the difference. Do you believe Steven Adams will be consistent for the Lakers? Did Steven Adams go to the Lakers? Jesus, that's actually a good get. That's actually a good get for the Lakers. Theo, 3&D. Welcome to the party, pal. Welcome to the party, pal. Organizations don't honor contracts. Yeah, seriously. NBA needs to stop allowing guys to move if they're going to guaranteed contracts. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. That's the whole point of free agency. Being able to go. P-Watt showing off his chains. That's a big piece of something he got going on that piece. They both do it to each other, so I don't sympathize with either side. Yeah, the NBA is just poorly run. I don't sympathize with the teams, and I don't sympathize with the players. I sympathize with us. The fans are just getting a shit product. I sympathize with the fans because with all this back and forth that teams have and who's got the power, the product is declining. And the people who pay the money for the product are the fans who pay for tickets and hot dogs and popcorn and soda and jerseys and follow the team and lose sleep over trade deadlines and all that. They're the ones getting screwed. I don't care. Neither one of the sides have my sympathy. Should Chicago trade Nikola Vucevic to the Mavs? We're going to get into some other for Daniel Gafford. If I'm the Mavs, why would you make that trade? Daniel Gafford fits well into what they do. Vucevic he just slows things down. Probably a little more offensive. That's lateral. I don't mind it. We need to talk about what Calvin Booth is not doing. By the way, Calvin Booth was trending on Twitter. No NBA contracts are fully guaranteed. I'm fairly sure they are. That's the difference. Just MLB and NHL. That's why NFL is the king of the sports. It is. It's the NFL has the ultimate hammer, and as unfair as I think it is sometimes, well, we see how it plays out on the field. It's the best product going because guys are literally playing week to week for their livelihood. Week to week, guys are playing for their livelihood. There's no question about that. I think you're too deep in it now. It's going to be hard to take that away when it's been there for so long. Guaranteed contracts in the NBA has only been there since the second lockout. I believe there's been 4 NBA lockouts in my lifetime, and I think it was the second one. And the second one was in the early 2000s. I don't think it's been, and I think right before that, it wasn't like it is now. I think certain guys were guaranteed and other guys weren't. Now it's everybody, but you're not wrong there. I love John Wick movies. I know John Wick is just, I mean, the whole series is, and now they got a new one coming out with the female. That one's it looks tight too. It looks tight. Baba Yaga. That's what's wrong with the game. The NBA is a free for all, just like college football now. Yeah. And they need to figure out how to reel it in. And I don't think they have the commissioner to do that. Draymond cashing checks, punching. I love that. That's a bar right there. Draymond cashing checks and punching dicks. KD making comments about loyalty and teams after Luka trailed is why I know. Guys have short memories. The guys have super short memories. All those teams still don't have Joker. No, but what does Joker have? A bunch of jokers. They surrounded our boy with a bunch of jokers. Although, if you can get this type of production right now, Nuggets up 104-91. If you can get this type of production out, like this type of play out of MPJ nightly, if you can get him this engaged, scoring inside, scoring outside, being aggressive, being decisive, and making it an issue at the rim, Zeke Naji with a couple of putbacks. If they can, quite honestly, you could wake up the beast if you could get some value out of guys who were just up until this point. You just kind of considered Zeke Naji just like, well, it is what it is. You're not going to get shit out of him. This is a game, obviously, against the lowly Pelicans where they've been able to get some good burn for some of their younger guys and hopefully some confidence. I'm going to be honest with you. Let me see what Jalen Pickett. I don't know what to think about Pickett. You know what I mean? Like, what do we think about him as a player? Do they have a player in Pickett is the question. And here's a question. How in the world, where's my bookmarks? Oh, this is crazy. This is the Miami Heat players getting word of the trade during the game from a guy behind.
Got Kyle Anderson, Dennis Schroeder, and Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
We robbed them. First round pick, protected.
Oh, I'm gonna look at it right now.
No, they didn't
Look at Kevin Love and Tyler Hero just getting the news from a fan.
Swear to God. Got Kyle Anderson, Dennis Schroeder, and Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
We robbed them.
That's crazy. We robbed them.
Pick, protected.
Oh, I'm gonna look at it right now.
No, they didn't give out the year. No.
Wait, are you kidding?
I swear to God.
This kid thinks that Miami robbed Golden State. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong right there. Like, what? Daniel Flores in the house. What up, Dan? Daniel Flores says Jimmy Butler drama. The Warriors need to win now. I think they're built for it. Steve Ginobili, welcome to the party, pal. Steve says Butler would still be in Philly if Embiid could stop eating. Agreed. I would never want to play with Joel Embiid. Soft like toilet paper. Jimmy has done this to at least 3 teams and keeps signing them. It's a joke. No, it's not. You know why people keep signing him? Because he's really good at basketball. When he's locked in, he is one of the 10 best players in the league. Hands down. Hands down right now. Jokic has a bunch of dudes who you hope play well, but it depends on how they're feeling that day. Agreed. Timothy Rimothy, have I welcomed you back to the party?
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
There it is. Yeah. Ballerina. Yeah. Looks sick as fuck. I'm a huge fan of the franchise and the fact that they're building it out now. The fact that they're building it around, they're building it out, and we're getting backstory. I mean, they could keep this going for forever. This is Marvel Universe shit. And it's Andon's in the building. Welcome to the party, pal. That's my guy.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Does it sound like I'm ordering a fucking pizza, lady? Let me see. Dude dropping news like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, right? He's talking to them by the bench and he's telling them what their team is about to receive. And he thinks that they robbed Golden State. I think he's wrong. I think he's completely wrong. Okay, so what about some other moves that we saw? What about the fact we can talk about Sean Payton too? Sean Payton, you know who Sean Payton is gruff with everyone. You know who we should get to interview to be around the Nuggets facility and talk to Jamal? Kay Adams. We should just get Kay Adams in. She seems to be able to bring the best out of everybody. She had Sean Payton just chatterboxing it up on the couch. He's all engaged. Kay Adams knows how to draw it out of guys. I wonder what it is about her. It must be her interview style. It's her interview style, right? It's the way that she's such a great interviewer. She's flirty. Where was that trade with Vucevic? It's kind of weird to me. Okay, so we also saw Kyle Kuzma on the move. I need a dong. I need a what's that? The Undertaker. I need an Undertaker sound effect. Poor Chris Middleton. I mean, he's getting $31 million, but God, to get shipped off to DC, that sucks. That sucks. Does Kyle Kuzma make the Milwaukee Bucks anything more than an early exit out of the Eastern Conference playoffs? Nope. I didn't get that one. I didn't get that one. It's like, I know Chris Middleton is, not the most mobile guy. He's no defensive stalwart, but Kyle Kuzma is a Jake. He's a guy. That one didn't make any sense. It was the Vucevic trade that had me like, well, what the fuck, man? Like, if you're are we just wanting too much? Are we expecting too much out of Calvin Booth? Like, are we as fans looking for Calvin Booth to do something that's just not within the realm of possibility for Calvin Booth to do? Is expecting Calvin Booth to act like a winner, like the GM of a championship squad, is that just too much to ask for? To be able to look at certain things and go, well, hell, if they could have got that, if they could have gotten a backup in place of DeAndre Jordan, who I love. I just love DeAndre Jordan because I do like that he is, a veteran presence. Valanciunas, excuse me. I do like that he's a veteran presence on this team. But if Valanciunas got traded to Sacramento for City Cisco and 2 second-round picks, couldn't he just as well have been traded to the Nuggets and you got a for sure backup center for your guy? I agree, Joe Mito. I don't understand that whole like Kyle Kuzma. Are you joking? Are you serious? But you see all of this movement, and I'm having FOMO. I'm having FOMO because, is there a for sure trade out there that would have made sense when it's talking about your core pieces? No. But you couldn't have gotten, Sacramento got Jonas Valanciunas for a song. And the Wizards were obviously in the market to just unload players. And right now, you're getting production tonight out of DeAndre Jordan. But Dario Saric is sitting on the bench, and I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's not happening. Not this year. He can't go during they have to wait. I'm looking at it and I'm like, Calvin, like, what the fuck? Adam Silver wants the Warriors and the Lakers for ratings. That's my conspiracy theory. I'm wrong. I know. I don't think you're wrong there. But who knows? At least it's not about like Pizzagate. That's good, Daniel. It's definitely not Pizzagate. Frogs game. I'm just looking at the landscape, and maybe it is straight up. Yeah, this one, front office, airplane mode. I'm just looking at, and maybe it's FOMO. Maybe I know, Andon. Welcome to the party, pal. Does that sound like I'm ordering a pizza, lady? I love when he tells, put the other guy on. If you're not a part of the problem, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Now put the other guy on. Sean just want to hit that. I mean, who doesn't? Have you seen Kay Adams? Look how she just drew sound out of Sean Payton. She just gives that smile. She's being coy little Kay on the couch, and then the boys just open up. Which one are we gonna listen to Sean Payton? This actually was a good rip.
And if you gave me like 1 or 2 sentences on what you think about the narrative that Patrick gets all the calls.
I don't think that's a narrative we're frustrated with. The narrative our league's frustrated with is, has the officiating kept up with the pace of play?
It's a great point.
In other words, man, this game's faster. It's quicker. It's difficult to officiate. And so I don't subscribe to that at all. I think they've earned everything they've gotten.
And if you gave me like 1 or 2 sentences on.
All right. You don't seem to think that there's no cheating. Ain't no cheating, no trying. Booth lost the plot when he said out loud he wasn't trying to repeat after they won. Did he say that? He didn't say that. Did he say that? Hold on. Calvin Booth not trying to repeat. He didn't say that. There's no way in the world he said that. No one would say that. Okay, hold on. Q&A, Nuggets general manager Calvin Booth talks repeat bid. He better not have said that. Question, how's the summer compare to previous summer? Very quick summer. He better not have said that. You're fired just on the basis of saying that alone. Very quick summer. It went really fast. Turn around from the parade, blah, blah, blah. Now it seems like I'm just sitting here like we had a week off, but it was very exciting, very glad, blah, blah, blah. Question, what's the most challenging element about repeating as champions? Booth, the mentality, as Josh alluded to. In this sense, I think mentality means to stay poised, stay centered. I think winning the championship was huge step for our program going forward. We probably, quite frankly, did it sooner than a lot of people thought we would, so repeating would be great. But more importantly, how do we sustain this and how do we win multiple championships? Well, this isn't the way that you do it. This is circa 2023. I think the good thing about this team is they proved last year that if we stay playing well at the right time, then we can beat anybody. I think that will be the goal for this year. It won't be to get 65 wins. It won't be to be undefeated in October and November. How do we get this team playing the right way at the right time? I don't like the way any of that sounds. Yes, we're going to repeat. Like what? Yes, the goal is to repeat. What? Then again, I'm wondering how the hell Calvin Booth even got into this situation. How did we get here? I know it had to do with Tim Conley leaving, but how did we get here? I think he lost it when he resigned Jamal too early, which put them in this situation. Yeah, that was a whole clusterfuck. Took a while for the contract to get signed. Jamal comes back from the Olympics. He's out of shape. It's just like that, just mishandled that whole thing. MPJ's cooking. Yeah, he's cooking tonight. Let's see where he's at. Nuggets up 122-107 in the fourth. MPJ, man, 35, 14 of 19. An efficient 14 of 19, 5 of 8 from 3. Jamal has stepped back. I think Jamal's noticed, like you hope that he would, that it's not his night to impose. And it's not that he's shooting. Jamal's 5 of 7, very efficient, distributing the ball, 6 assists. His assists have been up. I cannot be mad at Jamal for the last couple of games that I've been watching. I can't even lie to you. I'm glad to see that Jamal is actually dedicating himself to, at least on the offensive side, trying to do it a little more with a little more alacrity, moving the ball more, finding open guys, finding the open man. He's been really good. I won't say great, but he's been really good. Joker's again, just Joker being Joker. Although he's been feeling himself from this 3-point thing that he's got going. He's 4-11 from 3, just cashes another one. Nuggets up 125-107, 6:53 left in the fourth. Everybody who's gotten in the game has scored a bucket for the Nuggets. That's good. Zeke Naji, 7 minutes, 2 points. Anything you can get out of Zeke Naji. And I think maybe this is kind of like trying to showcase him a little bit. I don't know. Hunter Tyson's logged 9 minutes, got 3 points, hit a 3-pointer. DeAndre Jordan got into the game. Jalen Pickett. What do we got in Jalen Pickett? Is he a player? Julian Strother also is. He's been struggling here of late, trying to figure it out. How can he be a consistent? He's getting at least, especially with P. Watt out, he's getting, at least 20 some odd minutes a game, and it hasn't looked good. It hasn't looked consistent. He had that foul Troy Murphy on that 3 in the first half. Just kind of out of control, flying at the guy and actually runs into the guy in the air. It's just kind of like, he's still trying to figure it out though. Second year guys, I'm always going to give him a bit of a pass just because he's second year guy. He said he's not worried about going back to back. If he said that, and I'm kind of getting that vibe already from just reading that thing, that's a loser mentality. Like, what? It's not that you're worried about going back to back, but it's like, yeah, we're trying to win back to back. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was trying to win 3 and 5. Like, that's dumb math. Boo said, what? Were him and Murray hanging together doing life outside of basketball shootings? Exactly. They're playing like they're playing foosball, and he's like, I got this wicked game of foosball going. You're talking about winning back-to-back championships? Like, life's not all about basketball, bro. Sometimes it's about foosball. Last season, MPJ was solid. 25 points a night, every night. He's a sleeper stunner. I hope he gets back to that. I know when he's going to have a good game. I know when he's engaged, when he is doing it in all 3 phases offensively. When he's rebounding offensively, which he's done tonight. When he is taking his game inside the arc and not just parking it outside. And when he is actively looking to involve himself in the offense by making himself available, aka moving without the ball. From a Ringer article, I'm going to look that up. If he really that is Pickett is too small, play small. Yeah, and it's like you don't need him now, right? Because you got Russ. In terms of just taking the ball out of Jamal's hands and letting Jamal play the 2 whenever, but in times when, like Russ is hurt right now, and in times going forward, he still has, I'll tell you this, Michael Porter Jr. and dribbling is just very, very, very odd to watch. It's almost like he's never played basketball before. I just want dudes. Okay, Skunk Life, you found it. I just want dudes that we try to develop and it's sustainable. Nuggets GM Calvin Booth told me last August, if it costs us a chance to win a championship this year, so be it. Like, what? It's worth the investment. It's more about winning 3 out of 6, 3 out of 7, 4 out of 8 than it's about trying to go back to back. Listen, is he wrong? No, who wouldn't take 4 out of 8? Who wouldn't take 3 out of 7? But the only season that matters is the one that's in front of you. And if you're telling me that, oh, well, this season, we just want to pace ourselves so that we can make sure we're on schedule to win 4 out of 8, that is why this team looks the way that it looks. That's a loser mentality. Who says that? Who wouldn't take 4 out of 8? Who wouldn't take 3 out of 6? But you can't get to 3 out of 6 unless you win 2. What a bozo. Exactly. Rajiv, welcome to the party, pal.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
That is supreme bozo shit. Who says that? Had I known that he said that, that is supreme bozo shit. Who says that? No, we're not worried about winning back-to-back. This is the season that we're talking about. Yeah, no, we want to be on pace to, get that nice 3 out of 6. Pace ourselves, one every other year. What? But, okay. Appearance should never be show fodder. But I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Does this look like an NBA? Does this look like an NBA GM? Where's his face? Look at him. Come on. What was his career like? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a guy who I think this is a guy who we could, dare I say, he failed up. Like, hold on. Joker's having a game too. 134, 114. Joker's having a night. He's having a night. Oh my God. This is the guy. Here's the guy. This is the guy. Here's your guy. This is the guy. Calvin, the immortal Calvin Booth, ladies and gentlemen. Out of Reynoldsburg, Ohio. 6 foot 11 inches, 230 pounds. Played at Penn State. Well, there's the Jalen Pickett angle. An illustrious career that took him from Washington to Dallas, Dallas to Seattle, Seattle back to Dallas, Dallas to Milwaukee, Milwaukee to Washington, Washington to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Minnesota, Minnesota to Sacramento, all in the span of 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 stops in 10 years. And somehow found himself in our front office career. Booth started his front office career with the New Orleans Pelicans as a scout. 2013, 2012, 13. And 1 year thereafter, moved to the Minnesota Timberwolves, working his way to director of player personnel on August 16th, 2017. Booth was named assistant general manager of the Denver Nuggets. God. Fuck. Blimey. We definitely got a bozo in the front office. It's not that far-fetched to think, and this is the NBA with aprons. It's a logical thought. Nobody wants, first of all, I'm going to be non-fan guy here. Is it logical? Again, I said, who doesn't want to win 3 out of 6? Of course it's logical. Do you say it? With a season in front, what's logical is focus on the season in front of you. And you know what every champion's goal is in every season in front of you? Guess. You guess. What is the goal of every team that is serious about winning a championship the season that's in front of you? You're thinking about 3 out of 6? Okay. That means you think you have an opportunity all the time. What an entitled BS way of managing. Insane. You try to dominate. Maybe you win 3 in 7 years. Ass. Exactly. What are we talking about? Is this even a conversation that we're really having? Yeah, no, it's a reasonable thing to say. No, it's a reasonable way to think, obviously. Who would not take 3 championships in 6 years? Everyone would. But you can't get to year 6 before you complete year 2. So you probably should be focused on year 2. And if you go into year 2 saying, it's not a big deal if we don't win it this year because we just want to amass 3 out of the next 6, you're a bozo. It's a bozo mentality. 2 years ago, Booth made the moves to win the championship. Now he sucks, but okay. Yeah, he made the, okay. Zeke and Shard should be traded. I thought Chris Finch built that team, not Booth. Failed but won a chip makes no sense. You can't blame Booth for Jamal's piss poor play. No, you can blame Booth for his contract and Malone's inability to coach with the lead in the playoffs. But putting on Booth is a lazy analysis of the team. I'll give you this, Fishin. I'll give you this. Trading Will Barton was a must. I knew that. You know why? Because Will Barton didn't know his place on the team. And getting KCP in was a great maneuver. He's Dennis Schroeder of 2000s. with Tim Connelly, Will Barton would still be on this team? I would have hoped not. Casey Mack, welcome to the party, pal.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
No team has won 2 back-to-back since the Warriors in 2018. I think it's hard to win back-to-back. Of course it's hard to win back-to-back. I'm not even talking about that it's easy. What I'm saying is, if that is your mentality going into the season as the defending champs, no, we're not looking to defend. We're not worried about defending. We just want 3 and 6. You're a bozo. It's a bozo thing to say. It sends the complete wrong message to your organization. That winning is not held at a premium. It's an option. No one's promised tomorrow. You should probably take care of your business today. Golden State did the same damn thing. They had a lottery pick in the middle because they sucked. Then Booth traded Brown and KCP, though. Minimalist Monks in the building. Welcome to the party, pal.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice
What's
worker.
up, Oren Hitniker? And HNIC, I'll be that. I'll be that. They wanted more money. They could have stayed. Booth didn't trade Brown and KCP. They left. Thank you, KC. Unfortunately, we didn't have the money to keep Brown. A team was going to pay him more. Yeah, I don't think that it would have been worth paying Bruce Brown what he ended up getting going away, and I'm glad he got it. Everybody, I think everybody saw that writing on the wall. How come Tim Connelly didn't know that? GM-wise, isn't Booth like Barry Switzer getting a handoff from Jimmy Johnson? Yeah, the team was kind of put in place, right? And I'll give him this: getting KCP up out of here, or getting KCP in here, great maneuver. But it would be the Aaron Gordons. Like, what good does a KCP do you if not for the Aaron Gordons that were added to this team? That would be my question. And that was not his acquisition. Am I tripping? How come you don't blame Tim for putting Denver on the apron problem? It started with MPJ, signed by Booth. I'm not going to take that away from you. I think what they saw in MPJ versus what you've gotten out of, it's both upside things. Although I think that Jamal's been at that ceiling, and I think that the run in the bubble is what Jamal got paid off of. I'm not saying that him and Joker don't work together well as that 2-man, but I don't think that there was anything that Jamal did to garner what he got paid. And I think that was where you would have had just a heavy hand and sort of gambled with it and said, Jamal, this is all we have to give you because we have to give ourselves room. And if that doesn't work for you, we appreciate your talent. We appreciate you contributing. It's the same thing that you ended up having to tell KCP. It's the same thing that you ended up having to tell. And what you fell in love with was that whole fan favorite thing. And I think that that's more a Mike Malone thing. I think that we're saddled with Jamal's contract because Mike Malone has this love relationship with Jamal. That's what I think. They wanted out. They could have stayed if they wanted. Sure, they could have. Just seems like Booth isn't making the right moves to capitalize on Jokic window. I think everyone could widely agree with that. But when you're a contrarian, you want to argue for the point that Calvin Booth's a great GM. Tell me about Dario Saric and then talk to me about Calvin Booth and his ability to evaluate talent and make decisions. Am I saying that he didn't do the right thing by not overpaying? Well, you couldn't have overpaid. The bottom line is you couldn't have overpaid for KCP. And Bruce Brown was allowed to walk, which I don't mind. Losing both him and Jeff Green in one fell swoop hurt this team from a veteran presence standpoint. Losing all three within 2 years definitely did not help. But you couldn't have paid them. And because the focus was, obviously, you were going to end up dumping a bunch of money into Jamal. Nobody wants the assets that we have to offer. There's a fact. Huge fact. I'm not mad that they left. I don't think anybody's mad that they're left. You can just see what it looks like without them. I think now is the best time to get him off. I think if you're gonna get pause. I think if you're gonna get anything for my biggest fear, and you should never operate out of fear, is that MPJ is either it's like this catch-22. He's either gonna leave and become a full-fledged just monster, and we miss out on him, or you keep him and he just keeps petering here around, explosive talent, just never quite fully realized. That's my it's just a weird spot to be at with MPJ. Anyone visibility in apron issue is to blame. Booth happens to be the target, though. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. This has been a different game, Daniel. I would submit to you that Jamal's actually just played within. MPJ's had it going tonight, and so I think Jamal has done what would be required in that moment, which is kind of fall to the back, be more of a facilitator, and he's done it well. He's played within the flow of the offense. I don't think that he had a bad game tonight. I actually think he had a good night. MPJ was signed by Conley. Yeah, Murray let MPJ cook. That's really what that was. Where are the MPJ haters tonight? Okay. Daniel Miller's in the house. Where are you at? Aren't you supposed to be calling for Mike Malone's head? Win or lose? Hey, Daniel Miller, do you think that Mike Malone lost his team tonight in this win? He helped them win a chip and stayed and didn't leave like the rest of the league. Everyone is just mad because all the teams making moves and Denver isn't. It's sports jealousy. I'm not going to lie. I am suffering from FOMO. Jamal. Because we traded all our assets to win a chip. AG is a big reason that we don't have those picks. Do you think Malone not using certain bench guys correctly put his job on the line due to us making zero moves? I think that he's been a reason why a lot of the guys' development has been stunted. And it was his job, in lieu of losing Jeff Green, it was his job to make sure that Zeke Naji understood the opportunity that was in front of him. It was his job to make sure that Zeke Naji felt embraced, and there was a plan to give him Jeff Green's sort of role and minutes. It's been more than enough time. And quite honestly, I do think that there's game there with Zeke Naji, but everything is rhythm in basketball. And if guys don't get a chance to build up a rhythm, you're going to lose confidence. And if guys lose confidence, then they're useless. And I'm not making excuses for Zeke Naji, because I'm the guy that says you can see the guys who go and work on their game during the summer, and they're going to camps and they're playing with other guys and they're going to play with whatever the Rico runs and all that shit. You can see the guys who are working on their games and the guys who just take the summer off traveling and then show up to training camp. You can see it. P-Watt was one of those guys. You can just see it. Your job as a pro is to get better on your own. The scary thing is what's going to happen when Braun's contract is up. I know. Yeah, I know. Like, what do you do? How do you do? More so. I'd still like to have 18, but okay. Main problem is Murray's attitude, lack of leadership, lack of physical fitness this season. Just not a professional. Goddamn infuriating. And we're looking to blame someone. I'll blame Booth and Murray. Enough blame to go around. Nuggets get the win 144-119. When you have the best player in basketball, far and away, you would think, especially when you see his skill set, that there'd be a plan on how to keep surrounding him with the type of talent that he needs to continue to be the best player in basketball and for championship performances to follow. Did Willie Green tear his Achilles? I saw somebody on the floor. I will say this though. Don't blow game 7 last year, and you're possibly repeating. You had it right in front of you. You had it right in front of you at the crib, and they were gassed. And that is because they were playing 7 deep. They had no help coming, and they were gassed. And you just saw it. And that's on the roster builders, and that's also on Mike Malone during the regular season, just pushing that envelope of not playing younger guys and trying to max out on wins and get a high seed. Jamie Vega, welcome to the party, pal.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
DJ sat on the bench with a 20-point lead. That was Malone 100%. It's just he's frustrating because that whole I only trust veteran guys, I only trust my guys. That's fine, but if you're going to burn out your starters, then you're just not even doing yourself. You're not helping the team. You're hurting them. I like to win. I do. But Nugs could be scary force of nature that teams could be scared of. It's right there. So frustrating. Could be a dynasty. Could be. I think the biggest part that most of us are having, I think the biggest conversation that we're having, and I think we're all on the same page, I think we're all in the same place, is that what would be a shame, this would be a shame, okay, is to, because I don't know if this turns into a Luka situation, because I don't think, while I don't completely trust Team Kroenke, that their goal is to be the owners of a championship sort of dynasty squad. I think they're cool with where things are and business matters most. I don't think that they're the Adelsons trying to vie for some weird thing and they're willing to implode the squad in order to get what they want when it comes to a business. It's just strictly business. I don't think we have that. What would be a shame is that if Joker's best years, his prime years, are squandered due to a lack of front office competence, the ability to look at the thing and say, okay, that guy is the best player in basketball. And I'm always going to make sure his style of play is complemented by the guys I surround him with. And I don't care what I have to do it. And I'm going to go to the GM. I'm going to go to the ownership and I'm going to say, I need this, or I'm going to make sure that I build relationships. I don't give a fuck what you got to do. And when I hear things like, well, you know, we just want 3 out of 6, that tells me the type of guy that doesn't have the mentality that I'm looking for, period. I don't give a shit. Argue with your girl. Argue with your auntie. I don't give a shit. It's a bozo mentality, and it plays out. And no, he didn't sign this or he didn't do that. Shit rolls downhill. Starts at the top, moves all the way down. That's all I'm saying. It's a bozo thing to say. Let's look at some numbers. And then we'll get back to your comments. Nuggets get the win 144 to 119. That's what we should be talking about. I'm going to have to do something about this new applause. It's not till it gets to the back end that it gets palatable. It was a shaky first half. Not a shaky first half. They still defensively, it troubles me that this team, that anybody can get off on them. It does trouble me. Went into halftime tied at 68. The Pelicans, I believe, are the 24th ranked offense, averages about 109 a game. You gave up 10 points over their average. Do I want to see dominance? Yes. Do I understand that it's a tail end of the first half of the season, basically, because you're just waiting to get to All-Star break and waiting for the trade deadline to pass? I get it. That was disconcerting, but they came out and they locked down. You give up 27 in the third, 24 in the fourth, and walk away a 45-point third quarter for the Nuggets. But again, I want to see what this team looks like against the best. They've impressed against, they've played just above the level of their competition against the lower rung teams. I want to see how we match up against the best in this season. It just hasn't looked good. Nevertheless, they got the win. You give up 28 to Zion Williamson, 25 to Trey Murphy, who had scored 41, I believe, in their last outing. Oh, holding. Nuggets shot 37% from three, but only gave up 34% from three to the Pels. Nuggets score 74 points in the paint. I think that is where I think this team could get fat, especially in the playoffs. Utilize your strength. And if this team has any strength, if you play good defense, scoring in transition, and their half-court offensive sets could just dominate. You have two legit. I mean, I'm talking about keeping games then in the 110s. You have two legit post threats. If you use, I'll say three, just when you combine Joker's ability to either hit somebody on a dive, whether that's CB, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, and then Aaron Gordon does play well with his back to the basket, and then obviously Joker. You know what I mean? That's a 2-3. It's like playing spades. It's like 2 and a possible, 3 and a possible. If they focus, and you're probably going to out rebound most teams as long as your effort's there. So second chance points are there, and you add, because I'm telling you, shit just got real. Golden State's coming. So everything that we were talking about before, when it was whether or not it's Houston or OKC, please believe Golden State will be in the mix. And I do believe that the Western Conference crown is still an open conversation for whatever team gets their shit together down the stretch. And whoever's playing the best basketball has a great chance of representing the West in the NBA Finals. That could be the Nuggets, because you're still talking about a team that I think has the most for sure thing. As long as you don't see Minnesota, let's listen to Mike Malone. Uh-oh.
Well, we talked at halftime that, 68 points at half, and way too high of a number, 17 second chance points, way too high of a number. So we weren't defending, we weren't rebounding. And the guys came out, I think second half, we held them to 40% from the field and only 2 second chance points. So now you're defending and you're rebounding, and you can get out and run 37 fast break points. I mean, we had 13 at halftime.
Oops, sorry.
And that was on full display, not only in that third quarter, but the fourth as well. And tie game. And, we broke it open with our defense and our rebounding.
You mentioned last week the 0 rebound game that Porter had in Minnesota, I think. It seems like a lot of his best scoring games are when he's able to get active on the offensive glass. Obviously, a lot of things were going well for him tonight, but how important is it for him to just be engaged in that area?
Yeah, super important, because, we know what Michael gives us from an offensive lens, the shooting, the efficiency. Obviously, 2 games in a row where he's put up amazing numbers, and doing so in a very efficient manner. But to go with 12 boards, 6 offensive, obviously 6 defensive, 3 steals, just the activity. And I played him a lot of minutes straight. But, he's ready for that. He wants that. And it's just great to see him playing at such a high level as we, approach, games 50, 51, 52, 53 going into the All-Star break. And we hopefully he can continue to play at that level on both ends for us as we move forward.
What do you think goes into Mike's best games? Is it just that the shots fell, or do you see maybe a different mentality or approach or something like that?
Well, I think that just aggression, and not easing your way into the game. And there are times I know I can help with that, make sure the ball's finding him. But, if you chart the 39 points, yes, we ran a lot of plays for him tonight, but a lot of it was also him running, passing, moving, cutting, not standing. I thought he had some great passes tonight, 4 assists. Like, he had a really complete game tonight. CB got a defensive player of the game, but, both Nicola and Michael Porter were in the running for that. I thought Michael had a really good defensive game. So it wasn't just the 39 and the pretty jump shot. It was the rebounding, it was the defense, it was the activity and the playmaking as well. So, hats off to Michael for just impacting the game across the board.
You mentioned passing, 40 assists on 57 made. That's a pretty good ratio.
Oh, it's a great ratio. And obviously, Aaron Gordon tied a career high with 12 assists. Nicola gets 10, Jamal gets 6, Michael gets 4. And that's one thing I always talk about. Like, if you are a fan of this game, how can you not love watching the Nuggets play? I mean, the ball movement, the body movement, the unselfishness, the ball doesn't stick. And everybody, I mean, we had, Nicola and Mike shot the ball really well from 3 tonight, but the number of wide open shots we generated off of ball movement and unselfishness was fun to watch. And I'm glad we had a night where we could shoot the ball as well as we did, from the 3-point line as well as everywhere else.
Is the hustle play by Hunter Tyson an example of that too?
Yeah, that was awesome. Just Billy Hoyle out there running down the ball and leaving it all out there. That's what Hunter's going to do for you. The kid is just a hard worker. He's a tough kid. And those are winning type plays. I mean, if that's in your DNA as a player, if that's in your DNA as a collective unit, then you have a chance because, guys are willing to do the dirty work. And that was a hell of a play. I thought Zeke, and not as many minutes as the last 2 games, I thought he had some really good moments as well. So it's nice to rebound from losing 3 in a row with some wins. We have another opportunity tomorrow night against Orlando, who's playing in SAC right now. So hopefully we'll try to get some rest mentally, physically, and get ready to go tomorrow night.
Michael, you guys have won 4 straight heading into the deadline. Like, how confident are you that this team has everything it needs to accomplish what it wants to?
Yeah, I think, it's been so hard to tell this year, Vinny, because how often have we been fully healthy? I mean, how many games has Aaron Gordon missed? And then he gets back, and now Peyton's out, and then Russ is out. So it's hard to really know who we are, because how many times have we been fully locked and loaded? But I like how we're playing. We've shown we can beat and compete with anybody in this league as currently constructed. And then obviously Calvin, I'm sure, is taking and making whatever calls he needs to make. But I'm gonna coach this team, and I love the group that we have, and I believe in this group. And we'll see what happens come deadline tomorrow afternoon.
Russ just going to stay day to day for now? Does he have a chance to go tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't think he'll be able to go tomorrow, to be quite honest. But I haven't had a really in-depth conversation with Steve Short and our training staff about that. So we'll see. But again, those kind of injuries, hamstrings, calf strains, you got to be really careful with those. So I think we have 4 games now left to go into the break. So we'll be smart with it, and we'll kind of take it day by day.
Limited minutes. Are you pretty happy with Jalen when he comes in there and thinks he's been able to do?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen obviously has just been rock steady all year long. He goes out there, he runs his team. He knows who he is as a player. He doesn't try to be something he's not. He's going to run the team. He's going to make the right decision, get guys the ball where they're effective. He's going to make the open shot, and he's going to compete on defense. And that's the definition of a backup point guard. And I think he feels that at a very consistent level for us, which has been fun to watch.
I don't know how well you got to know Willie Green when you had him as a player in New Orleans, but the season they've had, the number of injuries, and another one at the very end, just putting yourself in his shoes, how do you even begin to kind of navigate the way that this has gone for them?
Well, yeah, I did coach Willie Green, and I have nothing but love and respect for him. He's a class act. Him and his family. That was the case when he was a player. I think he had the entire respect of the league, and then now as a coach. And this coaching is a fraternity. It's a brotherhood. And obviously, I'm a little bit more sensitive to coaches because I'm the son of one. And you live the ups and downs, and seeing your father get fired and all that stuff. Then you choose to get into this crazy profession, and you understand it full well because you live it yourself. And for Willie to be going through what he's gone through with the guys in and out of the lineup, the injuries, that's always hard. But one thing about Willie Green, he's not going to feel sorry for himself. He's going to show up every day and do his job to the best of his ability to get that group ready to play. And I told him as I gave him a hug to say goodbye, just keep on being Willie Green. Keep your head held high and coach these guys up every single night.
Thanks, Coach.
I broke my microphone. I didn't break it. The stand is, so I'm just gonna have to hold it. There you go, Mike Malone. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to situate this thing while I talk to you knuckleheads. I'll figure it out. There you go. I'll tell you this much. There are these glimmers of hope that I have. Like, when asked the question, is this team, ready before the trade deadline? And you hear from him and he acknowledges that, well, we haven't had a full complement of guys and you want to know what you got. I am reminded that this team hasn't been able to play together healthy. And I just saw something that someone said, you think they're going to try and move Zeke? I would hope so. Maybe that's what this has been about, is like showcasing Zeke. I think if you can get I think the Nuggets are one impact bench player away from being a serious contender. Like, I'll take this team serious if I felt like they had one impact player more coming off the bench. And it could be anything from, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why I was looking at Valanciunas. I was like, damn, that would have been a great get. Because somebody who you can sit Joker down and put on the floor, and I'm not saying he has to be at the 5, but you get production offensively that you can count on. You feel me? And I think that if this team's going to struggle anywhere, it's going to be that. That's going to be the key. I think this is going to be a slower, methodical. If they're able to make noise, they're going to have to be slower, methodical, and very effective, just imposing their physicality on other teams. They're not as young and athletic as other squads and skilled. So you're not going to be able to play that fast up and down pace. And that's usually not how the playoffs play out anyway. But when you're facing off against teams like we've seen them have trouble with, it's the teams that are really active and athletic that give the Nuggets problems. And then the Frenchman in Minnesota. I need a hockey horn. Yeah, I think so. I meant to put one in there and I just didn't do it. Excuse me. Fishin's right. You need a hockey horn and a party horn. Well, why don't you guys get me one? Oh, I got to get it myself. You guys can't get it for me. Second half decent. It was solid for sure. Iggy D, have you been in here? Welcome to the party, pal.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Other than signing KCP a few years ago, what has Calvin Booth done to help Joker? Dude needs to go. Jamie Vega, welcome to the party, pal, and I agree.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Minnesota has absolutely no one who can stop Joker right now. He eats Rudy for a snack. That's not how that last game played out. They just came off the road losing to them dudes, and that's not how that game played out. He wasn't snacking on him too turf. Rudy always gives Joker his length. Rudy always gives Joker problems. I know Cat was a part of that equation, but Rudy gives Joker problems. I don't know if you're watching the same thing. Fish, you say that, but Minnesota killed us last time when we played them. That was my point. Yeah, that wasn't the best game. I agree, but the playoffs are different. So says you. That's not how the last series went with them either. Cat was on the Minnesota team that beat them last year, and he's gone. That I do agree that Cat, and we saw that in New York. Cat, for whatever reason, gives Joker problems. I don't get that either. I'm not a huge Karl Anthony Towns guy, but his style of play gives Joker problems. But so does the Frenchman. I think they'll trade Zeke. I think they should try. I don't know what you get for him, but I just need something impact. They need bench scoring. If I'd say anything about this team, they need bench scoring. Need to be healthy as well going into the playoffs, and anything is possible. Agreed. Jonathan Kidd, welcome to the party, pal.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Sometimes you got to hold it. Skunk Life, you're climbing my ladder of favorite guys. Sometimes you got to hold your stick. Nikola Jokic has averaged 21 points, 9.9 rebounds, 7.7 assists, 26 games versus Rudy Gobert in his career. Yeah, he owns him. Owns him. It's a stat guy. I'm not a cat guy, but he's doing all right for my guys, so I'll take it. I'm not a cat guy either. I don't like 7-footers that refuse to play in the post. Hold on. Sometimes you got to hold your stick. I'm just not a huge fan of footers that don't. And Karl Anthony Towns' biggest problem is, he sold himself on that best shooting long range big man in the game. It's like, get your big ass below the rim, brother. Been hearing Ingram to the Raptors. I heard that too. Either to the Raptors or to the Hawks. Brandon Ingram would be a great addition to this team. Unfortunately, a guy like, well, what do you do, right? Christian Brown, though, and Christian Brown and Russie coming off the bench, Brandon Ingram in your starting lineup. This team you just need more scoring. To, I think, overcome some of their deficiencies. One, defensively, obviously. But two, just lengthwise, athleticism. They just seem to be a step behind and don't have guys with the basketball IQ to play off of Joker's finer points. I don't think. Guys who, and that's, you heard Michael Malone talking about that in his post game, is that what was it about that he liked about Michael Porter Jr.'s game tonight? That he wasn't just hanging out around the 3-point line. He's watching the game and playing the game within the game, moving without the ball, being active. Once you start moving without the ball, especially when you got a jumper like him, defenses can't set up on Joker like they're able to, or even on Jamal, because you are an active threat, not a guy hanging out in the corner waiting to showcase your beautiful jump shot. Smoke gets in your eyes. It's giving me Night Lounge Singer. Smoke gets in your eyes when I look into your eyes. From his debut album, Where Will I Go Now? When I look into your eyes. Last big really gave Joker problems was Dwight Howard. Well, it was a combination too, right? AD and Dwight Howard kind of double teamed, and that's not completely true. I do think that combination of Cat and Rudy Gobert was really a problem for Joker to navigate. 2 years ago, got over the hurdle. Last year, not so much. When I look into your eyes. Anything else happen in the world of trades before I let you knuckleheads go? Let's see here. What do we have here? Draws. It's Saturday night. I guess that makes it all right. Brandon Ingram is trending. Breaking. New Orleans Pelicans have traded Brandon Ingram to the Toronto Raptors. Sucks for him. For Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk. Nuggets fans? What say ye? Would have adding Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown to this team been worth losing an MPJ? Later, Skunk Life. 6 a.m. waits for no man. That via Shams Charney. I'm following right behind you pretty soon here. What else we got? Seems like that's the only other move. Vucevic. Warriors didn't give up much for Butler. Good job. Now go get Vucevic. They need a center. Lonzo, anything going on with Lonzo? Is Lonzo Ball on the move? Lonzo Ball agrees to a 2-year, $20 million extension with the Bulls. Staying in the shy. I mean, you got to lock Lonzo up now. You just buried your luck. What about Loon? Shout out Loon. Nobody say anything about Loon. I think that's kind of it, guys. I think we've covered it all. What? No. No what? You like Kelly O'Neal and not for MPJ? Oh, okay. The trade. I still think Brown will get out. Will get bought out. Hopefully. That might be the Nuggets' only chance to really add to this roster is the buyout market. And at that, I wouldn't be mad. Stand pat. I will say this. There is no point in Calvin Booth just doing anything. Minimalist Monk, welcome to the party, pal.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
I'm just glad that we're done with Anthony Edwards, Michael Jordan comparison. I would love to see this happen and for Bruce Brown to end up signing with the Nuggets for whatever minimum they have to pay him. I still think that they're a piece away. You got to add some energy to this roster. I don't think anyone wants to see the Spurs in the first round. If they can get the minimum in, if they can get minimum in the play-in, I think that they would be a problem. I think they'd be a problem just because, well, I think they'd be a problem for the two teams that sit up top. I am a huge believer that you got to get there in order to know what it's like to be there. You know what I'm saying? And this is both teams, I think, well, really, this is OKC's second year as the shot at, as the hunted. And, you know, it would be, I think, in their best interest to take every series seriously, which I don't know if you haven't been there before, would you? And I think that Wemby is just that skill set and that talent that you can't really game plan for. And if he decides to have a series, you're kind of fooked. You're kind of fooked. But then again, you know, you would hope that OKC is up to the challenge if you're an OKC fan. Looks like Durant's staying in PHX. Yeah, there was no way in the world that they were going to let him walk. At this point, I don't think Booth is even trying for a trade to bolster our bench. Yeah, Rajiv, I think it's safe to say the Nuggets won't and probably at this point shouldn't make any drastic moves. And hopefully there's a plan in place for the offseason. Hopefully he's already looking at things. Bruce Brown is a bench player. Why all the hype? I mean, it's more so, yeah, he's a bench player. No one's saying that he should come in and start, but what does every championship team need to make a championship run? You need guys to come in off the bench. He's got experience with this team. He's a guy who can get active. He can also get hot. He's a guy who's going to be an active, he's going to be an active participant in a championship run. He's not an also-ran. And if I'm looking at minutes, because I just don't think that this is a team that can go into this postseason playing 7. You're probably going to have to get 8. And you're probably going to have to get 8 going down the stretch. I don't even think they should go into the playoffs playing 7. You should be playing 8, 9. And when guys like P. Watt don't have it going, you can go get a Bruce Brown. It all makes a difference. It all makes a difference. Need to find a competent big to back up Joker. I agree. And I think that, that is where I just look at Dario Saric. I just look at him and I'm like, what a waste. Because we know that it's not going to be, it's just not in, listen, all things considered, I love what he brings. It's just DeAndre Jordan is that he's beyond the tail end. He's more like, he's like a mascot. So you're not going to get meaningful playoff contribution minutes out of DeAndre Jordan, which means Joker has to then be geared up to play 43 a game. I just don't think that it's the best way to treat competent backup help would be nice for Joker. Like a real player that you can spell him so that he's not spent, because your best player is going to need to give it to you down the stretch. And it's like, Jesus, that's not that hard to. So it's like, to see what Sacramento gave up to get means that he was there to be had. You just had to make the call. Isn't that what Westbrook is? Yeah, but Russie's Russie, right? And more than likely going to be in your starting. He's going to be in your starting five, right? Is Steven Adams injured? No, he is not, and he will be playing meaningful minutes for the Lakers, if what I've heard correctly. Only, if only, J Kid. I mean, I don't know what that would actually look like. That's a very slow, ploddy team. Probably sounds a lot better on paper than it would play out on the floor. I don't know though. In the playoffs though, two big shot makers, two guys who, you got one big shot maker for sure. Not that Joker's not one. I'm just saying. One huge distributor. Wow. If only. Ah, gentlemen, I think we've done good work here. Once again, your Denver Nuggets get the win. I need the Max win. 144 to 119. Where's my? What if I told you that pain is the process? You guys make this goddamn thing so much fun. I love arguing with y'all. Fishing. You my guy. I can't wait till we get back and we can all piece it up. Booth can trade himself out. Peace out. Peace out, gentlemen. Much love. Make sure that you find somebody who you hold close, who you think highly of. Let them know. Make sure that they know, because you never know when the next time might be the last. I'm just putting that out there. Let's see. Fishing. KC Mac. Minimalist Monk. J Kid. Rajiv SH. Iggy D. Skunk Life Media. Jamie Vega. Who else we got? Andon G. Timothy Rimothy. Conga Hydra. Daniel Flores. Daniel Miller. Jamie Vega. Media Critic. I think that's everybody. Anybody get forgot? Jomito. Did I get Skunk Life in here? You might have gotten twice. Steve Ginobili. Manu's people. Okay, I think that's everybody. I always tell you guys this. You help make this show what it is because I don't do this if I can't hang out with my internet friends. I will be back at you on the rebound with the meta sign. My name is Oren Lamena. This has been Good News Travel Fast plus times 5 to go on Kill You With Truth Network. Peace and I'm out.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
Good news. Jesus Christ, we can't run.